Caution, wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my lines. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution, wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my lines. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution, look at my face, pay me respect. Please do not play with my line. If you want taste, what you gon' get? Shit that gon' bury your mind. All that's at stake, where is my check? Need every nickel and dime. You play with my race, put you in check. For stopping the vision to climb. They mad that these niggas done woke up and now all our visions to go. Where is the bag to get us so caught up? Yeah, that is the mission and goal. Staying on cold. Some of y'all doing too much. Straight up be looking like hoes. Never gonna grow. Can't count on you in clutch. Most of y'all doing the most. Like this is a show. Doing it for entertainment. Or you're doing it for clout. Or you're doing it to sit at the table with crackers for words in your mouth. I don't play with enslavement. These are the days of the South. These days we play differently. This is what black empowerment's about. Wait, I said there's no time for no friends. Either you with us or against us. Don't switch it cause one of us die in the end. Hey, I'm keeping my eye on the lens. Watching the ops despising the picture cause they wanna see the white end. Hey, caution, wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my lines. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution, wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my lines. I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution.
Hold on, wait. See a black man doing great with black-owned businesses, building in a different state. Why these snakes wait late in the grass, plotting on what you can take. Black money in the black bank, where black money is safe, protected, like it's heavily protected. If he ever feels threatened, then he go a lead and knock him off and check this. For the record, he can never be weak. Disrespecting any checking your cheek. Rep it, said he rep it, rep black and green. Never fall, won't break. There's no limit to what I do for mine. But you so they don't take, come up with the anger and hate up all of my instincts. Come on. You wanna get one time? I keep a fully loaded, extended in the fully auto effing to keep you from crossing the gun line. You in violation. I ain't never shot a caveman. You be the first, I'ma give you this work. You get in the way of my occupation, yeah. Like I'm the boss and I don't like the way that you talking. This is my office, get permission before you walk in. The yellow tape across the door, Miss Caution.
Wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my lines. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution, wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my line. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution.
Greetings. Welcome, family, to another edition of Thorough Black Talk with your sister Keisha, your brother Tad, your brother Ashe SJ, along with our sister Marcia and our brother Blacksmith will be joining us shortly. Hope you all are doing well. I hope you are feeling good, in the best of health, mentally, physically, spiritually, economically. We hope that you're doing real good this Thursday evening. As we get ready to go into the month of February already. Time waits for no one. My mother used to always tell me that. Time waits for no one. You got to get on the ball and do what you do best when you have time to do it. Shout out to Sister Donna, all the way from Alabama. Brother Kerwin, what's good with you? Glad you came in to rock out with us for another edition of Thorough Black Talk. Sister Joyce, Brother Monty, my big brother and sister, what's good with your family? All the way out in Nassau County. Gotta give them love. Sister Farnessa of BB Fahodier. Empress Filet, Dr. Filet on the check-in. All the way from Philly in the building. What's good, Dr. Filet? Brother Ray in the BK William Mackey History Club. BK is in the building. We on the bridge tonight. I see my brother Tad getting ready behind the scenes. You ready, Brother Tad? He said, yep, time to rock and roll. Brother Tad, how you feeling this Thursday evening, my brother?
There we go. I'm feeling good, sis. Life is good.
unless the judge give it to you. Other than that, I ain't got no complaints. How you, sis? Oh, now I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Getting ready to send my uncle home tomorrow, so I will be with the family. All of y'all, I will see y'all tomorrow. We gonna do it up the way Uncle Dragon like to do it up. A BB for Honey, Sister Amanette too. My Midwest family in the building. What's good with you? Glad that you can join us for another edition of Thorough Black Talk. Now, as we said, we're going to try to come in with some good feeling in
Yeah.
2024. So I came across this video someone sent to me. This brother expresses his feelings of being a father to his daughter and her appreciation of him, the innocence of it. And it brings him to tears. So let's listen to our brother and to all our brothers around the globe. We here with you. We here with you. If nobody else feeling you, we here with you. Let's listen to the brother. Here we go.
So I can get up early in the morning, have a little father, daughter breakfast. That sound to me, boy. For real. I remember I was legit, boy. I used to always have them father, daddy, you feel me? Nigga never, my daddy couldn't never be there, you feel me? Couldn't never be there. So, being up for my little girl, bro, just little pancakes and sausage, boy. That's all it took, little pancakes and sausage. And seeing a smile on her face, dog. Just telling everybody, I go my daddy, I go my daddy, I go my daddy. Proud to say that I'm my daddy. You feel me? Proud, walking around telling everybody, it's my daddy right here, this my daddy. So I can get up early in the morning, have a little father, daughter breakfast. That sound to me, boy. For real. I remember.
I mean, just the innocence of spending time with his daughter, her appreciation. Like you said, just a little father daughter breakfast just made her feel so much better, so good. And it brought tears to his eyes. I can attest to that. When my grandson come over and he loves Nana's cooking. You know, he loves his Nana's cooking. As a matter of fact, I prepare wings for him sometimes, chicken wings when he comes over. And I bake them in a particular way because he doesn't like skin. He doesn't care. You fry it, whatever. He don't want no skin on his meat. So, I take the wings and I skin them and bake them for him so that they come out juicy as if, he did have some on there. But anyway, he has named the chicken Nana's chicken. He told my daughter, Ma, you got to learn how to make Nana chicken. So Leah says, Ma, what is Nana chicken? So I told her how I baked it. I said, this is just baked chicken, but the seasoning or whatever I put on it. He said, no. As a matter of fact, I got a song, Nana chicken. So it's just the innocence of that, being with your loved ones, being with your family, creating special memories for them as they go through their lives, the way we had special memories in our lives. And we're gonna discuss a little bit about that a little later on, family. We're gonna reminisce tonight on times, of yesteryear, because it seems today that people want to discard memory, to deal with the here and now, to be focused on the here and now, and then propel into the future. Well, unless you have a roadmap, the future can become quite bleak. Your here and now can become quite bleak. So tonight we're going to go back about 8:30. We're going to wait for Sister Marcia and Brother Blacksmith to get in here. But, you know, while we wait for them, some things have been happening in the news that I would like to discuss. Now you have these what do you call them? Primary, pre-primary elections. Delegation accumulation for presidential candidates. You had Joe Biden and former President Trump out on the campaign trail trying to gather union support. Well, recently they were before the UAW, I believe it is, United Auto Workers Union, and some commentary was made. But I want y'all to hear this pandering, and we'll come back and discuss it quickly and move on to our next topic.
If I'm going to be in a fight, I want to be in a fight with you, the UAW, with you. No, I mean it. We have a big fight in front of us. We're fundamentally changing the economy of this country, and everybody's getting a little worried about it, the very powerful. Some are seeing the light, but changing the economy, taking it from an economy that takes care of those at the top, and changing an economy that gives people who built this country a fair shot. You've been very patient. It's been a long time, but these investments are paying off. Since I came to office, by the way, the last guy said he's hoping for a recession. Because he does not want to be the next Herbert Hoover. He's already Herbert Hoover. He's the only president other than Herbert Hoover who lost jobs when he was president. Look, since I came to office, with your help, we've created 14 million new jobs. 14 million. Nearly 800,000 manufacturing jobs nationwide. Even before this, the UAW has been expanding its reach to workers in auto plants and from auto plants to casinos. You can tell I don't spend much time there.
It's not about who you like. It's not about your party. It's not this bullshit about age. It's not about anything but our best shot at taking back power for the working class. UAW, UAW, UAW. Donald Trump is a scab. Donald Trump is a billionaire, and that's who he represents. If Donald Trump ever worked in an auto plant, he wouldn't be a UAW member. He'd be a company man trying to squeeze the American worker. Donald Trump stands against everything we stand for as a union, as a society. When you go back to our core issues, wages, retirement, health care, and our time, that's what this election's about. This election's about who will stand up with us and who will stand in our way.
Other shenanigans. I mean, the pandering is starting. You know, listen, created millions of jobs. Are they affordable living jobs?
Nope.
That's why people are working 2 and 3, 4 jobs. What is he talking about? What is he talking about, Brother Tad? I mean, the pandering is thick.
but I mean, and it's the game they play, because when he said lost millions of jobs under the Trump administration, he has to remember that his party ushered in the what do they call it, the Chinese flu. You know, they ushered in, which caused a lot of businesses to close down and people's to lose their job. And as Sister Farnessa said, those who refused the Pokemon, you know, they got let go.
But then in the interim of that, when you talk about 14 million jobs, these are not sustainable, livable jobs. These are part-time jobs where you're not paying anybody's health care and benefits. And to your point, where people have to get multiple part-time jobs, still not fully covered, then go down to welfare and get benefits. Go get some food stamps and Medicaid. So it is crazy. And you're right, Brother Ray, that is BS. Utter BS. But the unfortunate part, right, Sister Keisha, and I was thinking about this while I'm at work today, this education system has failed so many people that, here I'm trying to help somebody fill out an application today, and he's asking for help, and I'm like, bruh, it's just your name, your address, and yes and no down the application. Like, which part are you missing? But basic understandings like that people miss, that you don't, not that you don't know your name and your address, but you're not even confident in yourself to properly fill out an application. This is crazy. This is what the system has done. People are literally dumbed down, and so you can talk the rhetoric, you can talk the BS. I look at the quote unquote crisis and Black leadership, and I hear what people are talking about and what they're saying. But to critical thinkers, we know it's nonsense. We know it's foolishness. But to the layman, people who think they're learning something, all you're getting is a bunch of lip service. I think it's in the 48 Laws of Power and The Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli. It says, preach radical change, but don't do anything. Preach radical change, but don't change anything. It's business as usual. That's how politics work. And that's why everybody get riled up. We're going to take back this country. We're going to make it for the working. Nah, we don't want to hear that. Because all of y'all are bosses. Teach me how to be a boss. Teach me how this banking game works. Teach me how this business system works. Don't keep talking about me being a worker. I want to be a boss. I want to be a landlord. I don't want to be a tenant. I saw a video the other day. $2,400 for a studio. That is, oh my gosh, Sister Keisha. You can't even get a full-size bed in there. You get a twin-size bed in there and maybe a 19-inch television. And the stove literally had only 2 aisles. The sink, like they got it from IKEA, like this
It's
big.
crazy. It's crazy. Speaking of IKEA, now they selling these tiny homes in Amazon and Costco, and I don't know, but it's trying times because people are struggling out here. At least here in this city, the cost of living is crazy, and like you said, $2,400 for half a room is ridiculous. But as Brother Cab said, shout out to the South Kakalaki family.
Yeah.
He said, and those so-called jobs that he claims he created are for migrants.
Yep.
Now, as you said, Brother Tad, you got to fill out paperwork. They want to ask your name and all this old kind of stuff. But you got people that are coming through these borders who don't have the same requirements, who are leapfrogging ahead of everybody else who, number one, pay taxes here, number two, are citizens here allegedly, and number three are the ones who advocated for those jobs. I want to get my brother Blacksmith in here. I see him on the check-in. Brother Blacksmith, how you doing? What's good, brother?
What up? I'm here. Finish what you're saying.
But you hearing the shenanigans that are coming out. Of course, this is political pandering, but they're coming out and making these accusations, claiming these benefits of the Democratic Party, but I, Brother Tad, and everybody else have not seen such things. So, your thoughts on this commentary? I want you, brother, to warn our people what's coming down the pike, because a lot of our folks still continue to be tricked. Properly.
More the same. I was just watching a Remedy H video maybe an hour ago, half hour ago, and basically they're out of here. So I we could talk about anything tonight and what's going on and how it's happening and so on and so forth. This is their last hurrah.
It is their last hurrah. And, while they are pandering for votes, because we're going to get Donald Trump's a response to that. But While they are pandering for these votes, nobody is talking about the military aggression towards Iran right now and what's happening in that region. We better be very, very, listen, family, like we said, any and everybody is coming through these borders. You don't know what's going on. And frankly, when the U.S. military encroaches on enemy territory and begin to fire missiles in that direction, that is an act of war. And
Mm-hmm.
taking an act of war against Iran can be very detrimental to us. Your perspective, Brother Tad, on that.
Same stuff, different day. We know that they don't respect anybody's right to live, nobody's right for sovereignty. That's why even on the grassroots level, when people were selling sovereignty, talking about you only get harassed, police only shoot you down because your status, you need your status corrected. Give me $300, I'll correct your status because you're not sovereign. Always got to remind folks, these folks don't care how sovereign you are. They're gonna take your land. They're gonna kill the people there. And meanwhile, while they're doing that, they're sneaking the folks through the borders, taking the jobs, and not even, I won't say taking jobs, but they're creating jobs for them. They're now allowing them to be law enforcement. Meanwhile, while they got us, the citizens of the U.S., that should be able to focus on global events, like them invading Iran and shooting missiles that way, they got us watching folks creeping over the fence in our backyards. So but what really gets me, Sister Keisha, is that all of this has been written out. Had people read 10, 20, 30 years ago, they'd already be ready for what was to come. To be forewarned is to be forearmed. Dr. Claude Anderson already laid it out for us. He told us by 2015 that they will have all of these people here to replace us. As our brother Ray just said, our replacements are here. And this is unfortunate because it may sound racist, and it's not racist, because I don't knock anybody trying to create a better life for themselves. But if I live in a home with my family and my mother, my wife, my grandmother opens the door for these other people to come in the house when we're barely getting by, I have an issue with the people in my house. Why are you letting these people in? We barely have enough for ourselves. Our children are hungry. They need gym uniforms, trip money. We don't know if we're going to have Sunday dinner, but yet you're inviting people in. It's the
And
same
yeah,
thing.
speaking of that, not to cut your wisdom, right along that vein, teachers are being are walking out of the school systems. Parents got to pay for toilet paper. I got to pay for toilet paper, but you giving toilet paper to other folks who pay no taxes.
At
But
all.
I digress. Go ahead, Brother Tad.
But they're also over here committing crimes and being let go. They're committing crimes and being let go. The acts of violence. I think I sent you a video clip earlier of a person who's just out of his damn mind, and they arrest him, but they let him go. They arrest them and let them go. And this is the problem, because what does that mean for us? Because they're being released in our communities. So the fact of the matter is we have to be prepared to defend ourselves against these folks who are scamming, robbing, stealing. And I saw an article today that people are now leaving their urine and fecal matter in cups and things like that on people's steps and all along the parks and things. And this is crazy. But again, our mayor is beefing that we have no place to put these people, but you invited them in. You called New York a sanctuary city, knowing that we had no resources. But Sister Keisha, I'm about to pass the mic, but I just want to get this point out. We knew it was BS because remember, prior to the migrants coming, he did this sweep of homeless people, just scooping them up, taking down their tent cities, locking them up, forcing them in hospitals to make it appear like we don't have a homeless crisis. All you was doing is sweeping it under the rug and clearing the way for new people to sleep on the streets now. Because all of these people aren't in hotels. And some of these people working in that field, some of these people don't even respect the curfew. So this is all a political ploy, and it's a big game to remove us out the picture. You know, before there was only black and white. Now you got black, white, brown, and yellow. And where you think we at on the totem pole?
Number 7. Because we below cats. So
yeah. So again, they're bothering the people in Iran, right? And one more point, but this is the scary part. When you have no closed borders, you're leaving your door wide open for anybody to come in. And the FBI already let out a report that some of the people they had their eyes on are here, and more than that they could keep count of, because everybody's coming through the back door. You left the backyard door open, and now they all in the house. Now you're concerned. This is just crazy. It's crazy beyond words.
Well,
it is, Brother Chad.
You got that power bottom down in Texas. You better get him out of there because he's back door getting rushed in.
Well, he's trying to get swallowed.
Why you get him started, Black? We was on the road. Why did you do that?
That was the funniest stuff I ever saw on this channel. That swallow stuff. I was laughing about that for about 2 hours after. And for those of y'all out there who don't know what she's talking about, go back 2 weeks and look at the end.
Yes. Shout out to
numbers up. Get the likes up.
Shout out to my minister.
Yes, get the likes up, Philly. Get the likes up, Philly. But let's listen to what Donald Trump had to say in rebuttal to that. We'll come back and discuss it. Hold on, family.
Love being with you, and we love being with you right in your environment. You built this country, you love this country, and you are the ones that make our country run. You know that, right? Joe Biden is surrendering our auto industry to China, just like he surrendered our borders to the cartels and he surrendered Afghanistan in the most embarrassing week, day, time period in the history of our country. But I will not allow, under any circumstances, the American automobile industry to die. I want it to thrive, and to thrive like never before. If we can afford to send hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine, then we can afford to have an auto industry that pays our workers a good living wage and keeps our workers working. But my message to you tonight is that Michigan's abuse under Joe Biden will end, and I will take you to new heights never dreamed of before, never even dreamed of. Under a Trump administration, gasoline engines will be allowed, and sex changes for children will be banned. Is that okay? I think we have it. Forcing the truckers to go all electric trucks. Now the trucks probably don't have the power. They only go about 300 miles, whereas a diesel fuel truck goes 2,000 miles. That's a big difference, would you say? Also, the battery takes up so much room, there's practically no room left for what you happen to be shipping. The whole thing is crazy. But it was the men and women who got, every single day, they got up and came back home with grease on their hands, and they were the ones that paid the price. They paid a big, big price. The only time Joe Biden has ever gotten his hands dirty is when he's taking cash from foreign countries, which is quite often, actually. It's quite often. Michigan jobs would have been exported, while millions and millions of foreign cars would have flooded American streets. That's what would have happened. Obama and Biden didn't care one bit, but I did, and I stopped it, and I stopped it cold. I took on communist China like no administration in history. And I promise you this, with me as your president, our opponents will lose, and our American workers will be the biggest winner of them all. So with your help and with your vote, we will expel the globalists from our government. We will evict crooked Joe Biden from the White House. We will put America and our workers first. We're going to put them first. And we will do something that's very, very special that I've been saying for a long time, and we had it going at a level that nobody ever thought possible. We will make America great again. So thank you. God bless you, Michigan. And
God bless America.
I'm telling you, what,
no
it's a total shit show.
You ever Chris Rock's movie, Head of State? Remember when Chris Rock ran for president and Bernie Mac was his vice president? and Chris Rock's opponent was a white guy. He used to always say, "God bless America and no place else." That's how he sounded just now. Late for everybody.
Right. I was waiting for that.
You know, if we support Trump, and I'm not saying, to, be all the way through, we're going to have to switch MAGA to NAGA. Us,
Yeah.
on this, yeah.
Let me get Sister Marcia in here. She hoodied up. She put the hoodie on tonight. She coming through heavy. What's up, Sister Marcia? How you doing?
Take your mic off mute, baby.
Yes. Unmute. There you go.
Peace, everyone. Happy Black Thursday. Good to be back with you all and celebrating Black thought.
Yes.
Hey, Marcia.
Great again. Yes, sir.
What is those two things behind you? Is that supposed to represent wings or something?
It can represent whatever you want.
Okay. It's Mickey Mouse ears.
If you say so. If that's what you want to give me, Mickey Mouse ears. I am not for the fuckery. Oops.
Don't get us straight. Don't get us straight.
Here she go. Here she go. Dun, dun, dun.
Hey, you too tall. You too tall to be talking like that.
I am.
I know.
Make sure you look up to me.
Mm.
You understand?
The shade of it all.
So your thoughts on the clip, Sister Marcia?
Well, did you see that? Is it Hertz or one of the automotive?
It's the United. It's the union.
No,
United Auto Workers.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
One of the rental car people are no longer renting Teslas or stuff like that. They're taking them off the market. They're selling them by the drove because, they're saying it's not good for their business. So they are selling their inventory on electric cars. So
let me hit that real quick. Last week during the Arctic blast, when it was super cold last week and 2 weeks ago, a whole bunch of those cars broke down in Chicago. They couldn't move them for nothing.
Chicago, New York.
Yeah. Well,
Detroit,
mostly up north.
Everywhere that was super cold.
Yeah, it was.
And they're not talking about what happens when it's super hot. So they're not really as useful as one may have thought. But everybody wants a car to drive itself. I don't want to drive. The car will drive by itself. Idiots.
And we seen what happened with the glitches, just tearing people up, not being able to stop, mowing people down, the car, even with drivers.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing, because I'm glad there's a discussion on the table of getting rid of electric cars, because the Biden administration also was going to push a bill that if you don't pay your taxes, as a penalty, they'll just shut your car down.
Mm-hmm.
They'll just zap your car and shut it down. You remember that piece, right, Brother Black?
If I remember what now?
The piece where they were trying to pass a bill that if, as a penalty, they'll just shut your car down.
Yeah, that was a thing about 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know if y'all remember. It was a big time.
We're still discussing it.
Oh, okay. But they
after it 4 or 5 years ago, but it was still in discussion.
Right.
Okay.
Well, they kind of stopped that because there was a sister about, like I said, maybe 4 or 5, maybe like 19, 20. There was a sister. She was going down the highway about 75, 80 miles an hour, and they cut her car off while she was driving. And luckily, the highway wasn't crowded, so she didn't get into an accident or something. And after that, Congress had to stop that. I don't know if we're talking about the same thing, but I think that was because she was late on the payment, not because it was an electric or gas car, whatever the case may be. But basically, all of this is to cut down on the carbon that these people are saying is affect CO2, basically. We lost Keisha.
So even if you remove the carbon footprints from gasoline and diesel and stuff like that, you're still emitting different types of energy frequency as well. So you're gonna lose something to gain something that may be just as negative to the environment.
Well, when you break it down on the environmental and cost effectiveness, them electric cars ain't worth a damn compared to you know, the output of, you know, the carbon output like you're talking about.
Yeah.
So it's just not feasible. Like Trump said on the clip, I don't know if you heard it or saw it, but they only go about 300 miles. And then, like you said a minute ago, with the cold and the heat, if that's a whole nother story, and we have another summer like last summer, it's just going to be the same thing all over again. Now you can't drive it because it's overheating. So, I mean, when is it going to come to? He even said to say there was even a controversy last summer about gas stoves. So they trying to use that, and because
we need to go back to the old-fashioned way, cooking outside on our wood burners and just giving it back to nature, because
with some Kingsford charcoal, right?
There you go.
Right.
Because the charcoals are still the ones fueling the electric plants.
That's true.
So it's still being used.
That's true.
And you can isolate that.
Yeah.
Listen, I talked about this maybe 2 years ago on this show. And I told y'all to research it. I don't think we ever brought it back up. There's a guy named Keshi. He has a box that's like the size of a lunchbox. Like when we was kids, when you took your lunchbox to school with you and had cartoon characters, Scooby-Doo, all that, or whatever the case, you know, flashback.
I had Mickey Mouse.
Okay, yeah, whatever you want to say. Yeah, let's say Disney. How about that? Even though he's a racist.
Listen.
But anyway, no, but real talk. What I'm saying is there's a box that was out. I was talking about it heavy about maybe 5-6 years ago, where this thing can power up 22,000 households. I hope Sister Keisha is like she went out again. One of y'all could look it up or something like that, or I'll look it up. So you take it from here, Marcia. Let me look it up and then give y'all a reference to go on.
Take it from here. I'm on the show by myself.
No, I'm just gonna look it up.
Yeah. Listen. Anyway, people, this world is crazy.
Yeah.
Electric car.
Say that again.
No, I was going to say about the electric cars real quick before we jumped off the subject. It's just another way for them to control the people, because at the end of the day, all it is about is re-enslaving everyone. Because if they control your mode of transportation, they control how you live, how you eat, how you feed your family, how you feed yourself, you're in perpetual slavery. Though they won't call it that, that's exactly what it is. So even as you travel, they want to have the ability to just shut you down. Use your electric car as a remote control car. So anything you don't want to do, because you know the thought police are coming too.
Yeah,
I mean,
social credit.
Yeah, the social credit. I mean, they got it going on in China now, and we've seen an episode out on Black Mirror.
Yes.
But that's a real thing. So even if you don't like what you're programmed to like, even if you don't support what you're told to support, you're going to be viewed as a threat by the powers that be and the AI that's just going to monitor you.
Yep.
Just going to monitor everything you do. You put up a post on Instagram, you like it or you don't like it, now you're in their algorithm and they can put you on this side of the board or that side of the board. Oh, you like little puppies and you vote Democrat all the time? You're a good guy. Oh, you question everything that's told to you? When things don't make sense, you challenge it? All right. You're a rebel and you go on this side. And this is how they're going to draw the line in the sand. You watch people, how they operate right now and the things they talk about. It's amazing on how uninformed people are. I hate to call people stupid, but they are. But I don't like to call them stupid. It's just unfortunate that so many people are uninformed.
They're unfocused. It's not that they're stupid or stuff. They're unfocused. They're focused on rhetoric. They're focused on rhetoric.
They're focused on what they want to focus on. Things that don't matter.
And shenanigans.
Yes, and the shenanigans.
And anything that forces you to think is gonna change how you view things. What is called neuroplasticity. When your brain starts becoming restructured and it's forcing you to think. So now your paradigm is changing. Your mindset is changing. You no longer see things the same. Think about television programs you used to love to watch, and you made sure every Wednesday or Thursday night you got home to watch your favorite sitcom. Now you have no interest in it. Why? Because your mindset has changed. And you even question, what did you even find entertaining about that? And this is the thing they don't want. They want to constantly keep you dumbed down, just laughing and giddy, and it's the stupidest stuff. Let's take Howard
TikTok
University.
dancing.
The money they just got the other day. The
Go
money they
ahead,
got.
Tag. Go in.
What did they do? They built a sneaker wall. A MFing sneaker wall dedicated to Jordan. Just a whole wall full of
And Jordan, who's
Whole
helped build
academia.
some prisons.
This is Negro culture. This is not black folks' culture. This is not, that's Negro culture. To where we put a value on sneakers as opposed to education and information. But this is what's being sold to us, because anytime people got to come to the quote unquote urban community, what do they bring us? Do they bring us a doctor? Do they bring us a lawyer? Someone who's African centered, or at least put black people first, even if they don't identify as African? Just put black people first? No, they'll bring you your favorite rapper or your favorite actor or your favorite entertainer, ball player, whatever. And our
Who
folks,
comes?
we don't even see it as an insult.
Right, because they come for one day, they give maybe 50 people, maybe more, some goods, and oh yeah. There is schools, there are books, there are so many things that you could give back. But a few sneakers, a few turkeys, some baseball, basketballs, that's fine. But in other communities, when people are going into their communities, number one, you never hear that highlighted. And number two, they are giving things of substance value. For us, we get material stuff that means nothing because it's in our hand today and tomorrow it's gone because we're based on a consumerism idea.
The mere fact that they put that wall up in the first place, as I said to Brother Taz, Sister Katasha, and Brother Kifaro. Shout out to Sister Katasha and Brother Kifaro, the Chi-Town family, an Atlanta family. But he don't own the brand.
Nope.
He owns 5%. That's it. Oh, I'm getting an echo. I'm gonna fix that. But that's what he gets.
But sis, even if you own 100%, what value does it bring to community, particularly those who are in the halls of academia, where knowledge and information is supposed to be the priority? See, as Sister Marcia was talking about, when it happens in other communities, they don't even highlight it. Why? Because they don't want us to get the idea that the alumni that comes back to them is bringing tangible resources. How do you build the business? How do you study horticulture? Like feed your family, like things that are relevant. How do you buy? Yo, Dr. Amos Wilson said years ago, he said, when we talk prop and stuff like that, we're not acting white. He said, because if we acting white, we'd be thinking about world domination. We'd be thinking about nation building, not talking about it, but aggressively and actively doing it. Look at the conflict over there in Palestine. That was a group of people who came and said, yo, we're going to build our nation here. And they did it. Look at the good old USA. People came over here and said, we're going to build our nation here. That's nation building. It ain't this rhetoric that we all got to get along. We all got to dress alike. No, you got to be willing to bust heads and get rid of those who are in opposition of the goal we have. But that ain't going on. That ain't going on because we just want to sing Kumbaya with everybody.
We just want to do TikTok videos. Come on, stop. Stop with all this.
Sister Marcia, I ain't even talking about the Negroes. I'm talking about the people in the movement. I ain't even talking about the Negroes.
They just want to do TikTok videos as well.
Well, then you know what? If they do it properly, it could be useful. If you're giving valuable information, if you're really bringing the level of awareness and changing the paradigm of how people think, because we do have to use what's
use the resources that are available to us. Yes, I agree.
But
they're not. You're trying to build when you're trying to be part of that algorithm, and you're trying to like, oh, if I do this little bit of this, and then I come back with this, and then I come, I hear the psychology about it, but it's also a lot of rhetoric that you're not focused on the goal, and you're just trying to capture people. Like, I think we're so busy trying to capture people, and we're not busy focusing on the people that we have and start working with them. That's the thing.
Because you know what I realized, and I was having this conversation with Doggy the other day. For the most part, social media is just entertainment now. That's why I don't post information about our story and stuff like that, because when you put out the clarion call to meet us here, to meet us there, folks don't show up. They don't. Somehow they got more important things to do, and then they'll just talk about it. Mm-hmm. They'll just talk about it. I've seen it long enough. I've seen it go on for too long. Even amongst the leaders not getting along, that is a problem within itself. Absolutely. And so now we got one leader. We got one sole leader, Dr. Sukiana.
Stop.
And what?
You called him your leader?
He's all of our leader. No?
Absolutely not.
Cat Williams is my leader. I don't know what you're talking about.
I like Cat Williams as a leader. But I don't want Cat Williams to be a leader either. I'm good.
My leader's in the middle.
Orlando Brown is a close second.
The leader that I have is the leader inside of me, because I've realized that there's too much crapola going out here, and people are really not focused on developing the people. They're developing their own pockets, lining them up, and if it's not in their own best interest, they're not doing it. Oh, you want me to come speak? Well, you know, my charge is X amount of dollars. Sure, no problem.
I don't want to hear nobody speak more than enough books. I don't want to hear nobody speak. I got more than enough books. I love this show. I love our audience, because where else can we go and get this serious conversation with a little laugh here and there with it? You know what I'm saying? You can't have this conversation at work. You can't have it in school. You can't even have it with some of your family members.
No.
You can't even talk about the things that really matter.
No.
Except here. So shout out to everybody who checked in the Thorough Black Talk. But I don't want to hear these dudes keep talking the same thing for the past 20 years and they ain't do nothing.
Right.
If you're not working with young people,
you're not working.
If you're not teaching the community how to defend themselves, what are you really talking about?
Yep.
If we're not talking about food, clothing, and shelter, what are we talking about?
Like
for real.
Sister Farnessa said. She said the code that we develop will be my leader.
Absolutely.
The code that we exactly. Sister Marie said she agrees with you, Brother Taz. She's tired of the rhetoric. Like people just want to hear.
I think we all should be tired of the rhetoric.
We all are, because they'll ask you for X amount of dollars. Then they don't help you promote. They don't help you do this. They don't help you do anything. And then they turn around and say, well, you know, my sister, that's not part of my responsibility, but where's my money? And you're like, my guy, get away from me, because I don't want to deal with this.
Listen, the hustle game goes on everywhere. It goes on in the church. It goes on in the schools. It goes on in the movement. That's what we have to eradicate.
Buy my shea butter, buy my soap, and donate to my school. Oh, and I got a t-shirt too. That's all. That's gonna get us free.
Yep.
That's gonna get us free.
T-shirts, shea butter, incense, oils, all of those things is what they call.
No, I'm good over here. I'm good
just,
over here.
Just go to Medina downtown. What?
Go ahead, Black. Go ahead.
See, Black, now get away my stash. That's my connect. Don't put the people on the my connect.
hey, that's downtown Bronx for those of y'all down from New York.
Oh shoot.
Downtown Brooklyn.
Don't talk about Brooklyn like that, because the Bronx is still too crazy.
The Mayberry Bush. Don't follow Brother Black. He's gonna have you on the D train looking for something.
Yeah, don't go to the Bronx. If you're not from New York, stay out the Bronx. The Bronx is officially the old Brooklyn. Do not go to the Bronx. I'm from the old Brooklyn, and I don't go to the Bronx. Go to the gentrified Brooklyn. Stay out the Bronx.
Sister Marie said, go to Harlem. So
yeah, you safer in Harlem.
But right along that vein, family, because this is what I was trying to share, and I got tied up. Every time I listen, I see you, YouTube. I see you. I see what you're doing. But anyway, Dr. Bobby E. Wright, on what We are old, what black on black violence is, what black forgiveness is. And it's insanity, right? We throw it back here on Thorough Black Talk. So we're gonna listen to this 1 minute clip of Dr. Bobby E. Wright concur with what the Thorough Black Talk crew just laid out for you all. Here we go.
Asked for being paid for 262 years, for 250 years of slave labor. We have never even asked them to pay us. Even we say, oh, they don't owe us nothing. The hell they don't. They owe us blood and nothing else. I mean, what other group of people? What other group? Listen, you gotta listen, Carol. You clap if you want to. But listen, what other group of people in the world, like us? We're the most forgiving people in the world for other people, but if your sister wear your dress, you're a shooter. You will shoot her. If a brother step on your foot, you will shoot him. That's menticide. That's menticide. People keep asking, why do blacks kill blacks? Why do we treat each other so bad? Blacks kill blacks, why? Because they've never been trained to kill whites. Therefore, it's outside their experience. You kill and you love people you've been trained to do that too. We have been trained, and we've been trained not to love black folks. We've been trained to kill black folks like everybody else.
Picture this, a world where a simple soybean holds...
You heard him. You heard him. We've been trained to believe this way. We've been trained to forgive these people, and we've been trained to do each other in. So when these hustlers, pimps, and thugs, and King Kongs, and this and that and the other come in, they're following the protocol. Right. They are trained to do each other in.
They know for a fact that we won't be like, I'm G-checking you, and I want everyone to understand that these are the reasons. And because they have such a fan base, because these are not anything else but fans, these fans will shut you down immediately, like, he's so blah, 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 and not realizing they're not offering you anything of substance, and that's going to make you grow. Nothing. And everybody's okay with it. Everybody's okay with being arrested, developed, except those people right here on Third Black Talk. You are trying to grow your minds and become a different type of Black person. And we appreciate you here.
And there you have it from Africans on the Rise. We don't play around over here. We don't play around over here. So, in light of all of that, like I said, we want to throw it back. We throw it back over here, family. Take a look at our younger selves, right? Because that's the audience that is targeted, right? Now, maybe later on, if YouTube don't stop messing with me, I'll play a clip of them folks telling you that they're worried about young Black folks, that they need to control the mind of young Black folks. I'll get that clip if they don't mess with me. But tonight, we're going to throw it back. All right, we're going back into time. Here we go. Yes. The Thorough Black Talk family. This is the crew. And tonight, our ancestors will be our moral compass. Right? I took a shot of that at a vegan fest. Somebody took a picture of me in that. Anyway. So tonight, we're going to throw it back, family. Right? Tonight, we're going to start out with our brother Black. Where you at, Black? Don't try to hide now, brother.
All right.
Let's go. Now, Brother Black sent me this photograph of himself and two other gentlemen. I had asked the crew to send me some images of yesteryear so that we can have a conversation with ourselves, right? Because there's so much happening today. So many lives of laws. So many people are losing their lives. As a matter of fact, condolences to the King family on the loss of the King. Mm-hmm. Right. A couple of days ago in his battle, I believe, with prostate cancer. Now, oftentimes when you attend a funeral or going home service, you see the sunrise and the sunset of that person, the time they were born and the time they transitioned out of here. The most important thing on a program or an obituary is that dash in between. What will people say about you? Who are you? Can you go back and look at your younger selves, have a conversation with your younger self, and try to guide your younger self in 2024? Now, when I first sent this assignment to Brother Tad, let me tell you how the ancestors work. He texted me back. He said, sis, that was just my homework assignment to do this. So I said, it's all in divine order. Trust me, it's all in divine order. As I was thinking about it, Sister Marcia had just recently had lost her loved one, right? And then I'm losing minds, and Brother Black is telling y'all every week all of the things that are happening around us, that a lot of people will be losing their lives and a lot of people won't make it. So tonight we're going to go back and take a look at our younger selves. Sister Vanessa said, "Uh-oh, Brother Black actually had hair." Yes, he did.
I got what's this? I got sideburns over here.
He said, I got sideburns.
That's all he got. But let me fix this, family. Let me get this back on. So, Brother Black, give us a description of yourself in this photograph, and who are these gentlemen with you? And take us back. Give us a story about who
those
is.
Those are two family members. We probably were scheming on getting some weed and some alcohol and going to ride around the, New York City in nice cars, looking for chicks all over the city. That was my first probably 30 years of my life. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't always this way. I was, Reverend Pork Chop at one time myself. You know what I'm saying? So I don't knock nobody for being who they are, because, I could relate to all of that as well. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't thugging or nothing like that. I always kept a job and stuff like that. But on the weekends, it was on and popping. What we doing this weekend, y'all? What you got for the head and all them kind of comments back then. So
how old were you in this photograph?
I think about 23, 24.
Were you up in the Bronx with the people of Fresh?
I was all city at that time.
I'm talking about in this photograph.
Actually, I could have been at that time. I could have been living in Spring Valley. I graduated high school from there, so and I always was going there because my family. I had family members up there, so we always went there. From the Bronx is only a half hour. From Brooklyn is over an hour. So I've always gone there. And matter of fact, those two dudes in the picture, I'm not gonna say their names. They family members. One is from Brooklyn, one is from the Bronx. And like I said, I was all over the place. And then I lived in Harlem for a while, so I was in the middle. Yeah. But more of my adult life.
You was outside.
Yeah.
Much.
Oh, for sure. Most of my adult life, more of my adult life was spent in Brooklyn, though. I grew up in the Bronx, moved upstate when I was 16, 17. And then I went to the military. When I came back out the military, I lived in Brooklyn. Then I lived all over the place.
What was that time like, Brother Black, in the military?
Military life, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know nothing back then, you know what I'm saying? I used to wake up sometimes and be like, what the hell am I doing here? I didn't know who I was at the time. I just was doing it to get away from the streets and all that. You know what I'm saying? Came back and, lived my life in New York, like I said, partying all the time, you know what I'm saying? Brooklyn, Bronx, it didn't matter. It depended on who had the most money and where we was going.
I was never partying in the Bronx. Let me tell y'all that right
now.
now.
Partying everywhere in New York. Hey, come on, Keisha. Do I got to go back to the Bronx and the fever and all that when it was the boogie down Bronx?
It was. It just wasn't
come on
for me.
Now.
It wasn't for me.
Yeah, I'm saying it is what it is. But I'm just saying that's for 371. I could walk to 371 from where I grew up at, and the fever actually, because right by Yankee Stadium. I lived on the other side of that. Butler Webster Projects.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Sister Amanetu said it's so beautifully overcrowded. Shout out to East New York. We in the East right now. Stop playing, Marcia from the East. She from the East, sister.
Born and bred in the East.
I didn't start hanging out downtown Brooklyn until probably like the late 90s. Because before that, all my Brooklyn pretty much was Bed-Stuy, East New York.
High school days.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Speaking of high school days, Sister Marcia, as we glad to see you. This is Sister Marcia, little young Sister Marcia. How old were you, sister, in this photograph?
So angelic. She got the wings to go with it.
Thank you. I am 7 years old in this picture. And this is, remember I told you I had a photo that I was missing? I put the photo up, but I guess I put it up too late. However, this is my first communion. And on this day, I married Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. And I thought I was the shit. Couldn't no one tell me, and my Jesus Christ wasn't going places. And this is the first time I remember being assaulted as a child during a party, during my communion party. And the person that assaulted me said, "You're married to Jesus. This is what is expected of you." And for so long, I equated that moment, and I had my full cognizant dissonance. I remember I never wanted to go back to church. It was just so hard for me to really understand how this moment and that act came together. So that was, but I love this picture. I love the feeling that I felt that moment. But after then, I didn't take pictures as much anymore. I didn't, when you are, when things happen to you, you shut down in various different ways. And I shut down in a lot of different ways. And I remember that moment, and maybe there was abuse that happened before then. But that moment on, that time that I married Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, nothing else should have happened to me because his protection should have been there for me.
Wow.
And that's what makes this photo and the other photo very special to me.
Wow, it's funny you tell that story, and I'm so sorry that happened to you. But as you tell that story, I automatically connected. Let me tell y'all how the ancestors work. Let me connect these dots for y'all. Sister Marcia tells the story of her marrying Jesus Christ and the assault she faced afterwards. Come full circle with a group, Brother Tad, Ashe, and myself, Brother Ray, Brother Mike Grays, and others, set up shop against the pedophile in a church who was a pastor doing it to his daughter. Look how things come full circle.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So, again, as you tell Marcia's story when she's no longer here, you have to connect that dot that this happened to her, but later on in her life, she connects with three people who took down a pastor in a church, a pedophile.
Absolutely.
You see how the ancestors work? Y'all better stop playing with me.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, stop playing with me. But let's continue. Sister Marcia, the photograph on the left with you hugging another sister. Give us the 411 on that photograph.
That is my big sister, Catherine. She and I are sisters by blood. Sometimes we're not friends, but we are sisters. I would die for her. I might not be her friend. I may not talk to her. I may not talk to her for 75 years. If I hear one person mess with my blood sister, I'm coming out with knives, guns, and anything else. Don't mess with my sister. And she feels the same about me. I love her to death. We may always be at odds because we we are different, right? We think different. We may have had similar experiences, but our outcomes from the experiences are quite different. I fight for Black love, and she fights for what she fights for. And I appreciate her because she's my sister and I love her. And on the other side is my parents. So so let's see if I could go over this picture. Let's see. What is Keisha, if you could point for me, please, so I can do this correctly. Okay, that's my father. He married my mother to his, yep, that's my mom. And they married through an arranged marriage. They were not friends, lovers, or anything.
Keisha, where you point at? I don't know who's who from who.
My mom, right there. She's pointing
Oh,
at.
okay, I see it now.
Yes.
I didn't see it
Okay.
before. Okay.
To my mom, the man to my mom is my grandfather, Papa Lulu. I never got to know this man. However, this man had 3 daughters by different women. And he took all 3 of his daughters and raised them in his house. He made sure that his daughters were raised together. Above my mother is my favorite aunt, Eve was, because of my grandfather. Funny to say, we are at odds because I gave my grandfather one year accolades about, look at this Black man in the 40s and 50s taking care of his daughters, you know, whether he raised them with himself or with his mother, whatever, he put them all in the same household. Oh, she got so mad. So it's been a moment since we've spoken, but I still love her to death. To my grandfather, the woman sitting next to my grandfather is my aunt, Wazin. She's also my godmother. She died of diabetes. And when she died of diabetes in Haiti, she had, so sometimes diabetes, it swells up in your legs and your body, and they pus and stuff like that. So I am 10 or 12 years old. I go to Haiti and I see this woman in the bed looking crazy, and I'm afraid and I'm scared. But in that moment, I made sure people cared about her, made sure her wounds were cared for. And I took that from my mother. That was instructions from my mother. So my mother gave me the instruction of caring, right? So I took that lead from my mother, that make sure her wounds got cleaned every morning, make sure she didn't smell and stuff like that, because that's what happens, especially when we care for elderly people. We have to understand that their body chemistry changes, and being able to understand that as a 10, 12-year-old really put a level of kindness in my heart that I think if had I not had that experience, I wouldn't have had that. To my father, the woman sitting in front of my father, the woman next to my father, that's my grandma. That's my grandma, Andrea Celestin. That is my mother's mother. She had only one child. However, her mother had 13 children, and she helped raise her nieces and nephews. They all became educators. So education runs in my blood. This is why I love to teach. Even my aunt Wazin was an educator as well. My grandfather Lulu was a banker. Okay, so, and then really quickly, let's finish up this picture. So in the 2 children at the bottom, the girl, I can't remember her name right now, but the girl, she lives in New Jersey. She's a seamstress. She has made clothes for Wyclef, the Fugees, and many other musical talents coming out of the Caribbean islands. My cousin Patrice, quick story about him. His mother is Wozin. Patrice is a doctor for the UN. He does Doctors Without Border. He's traveled all over the world. Quick story about him. He is named after Patrice Lumumba because he was born in the year that Patrice Lumumba was assassinated. And my grandfather, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about my grandfather. My grandfather said, all of you people leaving this country to go to America, y'all all a bunch of crazy lunatics. Y'all don't understand what's going on in America. I will never step foot on a country where they're killing people left, right, and the other just for the color of their skin. At least in Haiti, when they were killing people, they were killing them for different reasons. And so my grandfather was a true militant. He had a passion for reading. He had a passion for understanding cultural life. They would tell us, his sister, who's not there, she would tell me how he would collect National Geographics. And I found that so interesting because I love National Geographic. And then lastly, above Wozin, the woman above Wozin, yes, her name is Kitty Gauthier. She was also a very famous seamstress. She transitioned during the earthquake of 2012, and she was my best friend. I can call her and talk to her about everything.
2012 or 2010?
Whichever one you say it is, I agree with you. I can never remember.
It's 2010.
Thank you, brother. But she transitioned that day. What's so funny? Well, what's so eerie about her transition? My mother, we heard from everyone, and my mother was ill. She was like, something's not right. Something's not right. She's ill. She's ill. She's heavy. Nothing is sitting right with her. And then finally she goes and figures out how to call more relatives, right? Because again, we may have social media, we may have everything, but if we don't have people's phone numbers, when incidents like this happens, you're trying to connect with every single body. So my mother speaks to Kitty often, but she doesn't speak to her sister often. She doesn't speak to her brother often, everything like that. So in order for her to finally find someone, maybe 2 days later, so for 2 days, my mom is sick and ill. That's when they told her that this had happened to Kitty. And my mother was like, that was it. That was what was holding me back for so long. And she, did what she did when she found out her bestest friend transitioned. However, it's just that thing that our people do when things aren't right. They come and they tell us. They're trying to tell us secretly, but we don't understand. We don't understand how to communicate properly. So we feel it, but we don't know what it is. That was it from my grandma. From my
a
mom.
lot of history in that one photo, right?
Yeah.
You have two very famous seamstress who work within the entertainment industry. You have an arranged marriage. You have a militant. You have educators. And so when you look at Marcia, you have to look at her entirely, right? You have to see her whole story. What makes her the woman that she is? All of these things make Marcia who she is, right? So it's very important that you when you say you know someone, you know someone. You know what I'm saying? Never think, and this is for Brother Black and Sister Marcia, never think that anything that you do in your life is by your own direction.
Absolutely.
Right? Because our genealogy and DNA is a story that continues to unfold. This is her story in her family's line. Whether she, agrees or disagrees with their philosophies, their opinions, or whatever, it is that DNA and that genealogy that forms her story. That tells Javon's story. Shout out to Javon. That's her son.
Jaquan.
Jaquan. I keep saying that because my friend's son is Javon, and I have a co-worker whose daughter is Javon. So it kind of rolls off the tongue that way.
That's okay.
But Jaquan's will continue the story, and his cousins, and they tell the story. So whether you want to believe it or not, it's a powerful thing once you really unravel and unpack everything.
And one
that's
last
going
thing.
on.
Oh, I'm so sorry. One last thing.
Go ahead.
My grandmother lived to 115 years old. So she is currently the
Wait, we gotta drop the mic for that. We gotta drop the mic. 115 years of age. Drop the mic for that family. Put some fire in the room for that one. Go ahead, Sister Marcia. Finish your story.
Yeah, no, that was it. That was it.
Hey, Marcia, I got a real quick question.
Yes, sir.
You said you married Jesus back then, right?
Yes.
Okay. Who was your father-in-law, God or Joseph?
No. No.
No what?
No. Good night, Brother Black.
Moving on. We are moving on to Brother Tad. Black is a troublemaker.
Brother Black.
One thing Black didn't tell his story, but I believe it to be true. He got a lot of behind whoopings. He got a lot.
Yes, I did. But most wasn't deserved though. It was because I was just fast.
Because you told corny jokes that upsetted people that made you get whacked.
No, they're not corny. They're eccentric.
Corny.
Okay.
Here we go. We won't stop.
Brother Tad, tell us about your peoples, please.
Hold on. This is Brother Tad. Now,
yeah, it's Tad's turn. It ain't my turn no more.
You gotta know the whole story of who he is, right? So when he is no longer here, this digital footprint will still be here, right? So if his family may forget, the digital footprint is here to tell his whole story about who he is, what makes Brother Tad the man that he is at 50 years of age, and everything that he went through in his life and his family members went through in their lives to formulate who you see before you today. Brother Tad, tell us about this adorable photograph on the left.
He looked like a gray.
That's a young
You
Tad.
see, he started with you.
I ain't worried about
him.
him.
He can't help himself.
That's what happens when you live in the Bronx. That's all that is. He see that Bed-Stuy Brooklyn energy. That black and white picture is a young Tad. Born in Bed-Stuy, born in Brooklyn Jewish Hospital to be exact. You know,
Pauline worked in that hospital, I think for 30 years or something like that. But
we need to check some tunnels. We need to check the tunnels in there.
She was in there when you were born, Brother Tad. But go ahead.
I could believe it. Yeah, and that man holding me is my father.
How old were you about in this photograph, Brother Tad?
About 1 or 2 years old. Between 1 and 2 years old. Yep. And then the picture with the gang, those are my cousins and one of my siblings. My brother Calvin and can you see the children, Sister Keisha? All right.
I see
the one with the hat backwards, that's me. That's my oldest cousin Mel standing behind me. Standing next to me, you know who that is. That's a young Doggy Diamonds. standing next to me, Sister Keisha. Behind Doggy is his sister Amel. Next to Doggy is my brother Calvin. Next to Calvin is my cousin Ife. Standing behind my cousin Ife is my cousin Sherry. And crouched down in the front of all of us is my cousin Mushy. Him and Doggy both have the same first name, Gregory. Doggy's Gregory Lewis and Mushy was Gregory Cromwell. But all of our mothers are sisters. Now, check this out, Sister Keisha, right? You can hear me?
Yep, I hear you.
Check out the rainbow of black children. All of our mothers are sisters. So you got from the lightest of the light, Doggy, and his sister Sherry in the back, to the darkest of the dark, my cousin Ife, and everything between.
Just like my family. Go ahead, Brother Tad.
That's the beauty of our blackness. Sometimes when you tell people that, oh, this, remember, we could create all the colors of the rainbow. As Adam Clayton Powell said, don't stunt them other women from other races. We got fine women in our own race. We got everything from charcoal to chalk. We got it all. Whatever your preference, we got it. No need to step outside. So yeah, that's the crew right there.
Now, where was this picture taken, Brother Tad?
On Waverly Avenue, Waverly and Fulton. Yep. Where at one point my whole family lived in the building. I remember when this picture was taken, only one aunt didn't live on Waverly. She lived on St. James. My cousin Mushy in the front, I actually met Biggie through him because Biggie was his friend first because they lived on the same block. And I think I met Biggie, we was all around this age. That's how long I knew Biggie. So my cousin lived across the street from him. And I knew him, that's back when you needed permission to leave the block. So that's how I met Biggie through him because that was his friend that lived across the street. So we went to my aunt's house 2 blocks over. That's what Biggie was.
Now look at the history in the photograph. Again, you have Brother Tad in a picture with his family members, all different shades. You have his connection to Biggie in the front of the picture, his connection to media, his cousin Doggy, right here to the left of him. That is his left. Yeah, his left. Now, you see how things go full circle? What is Brother Tad doing now? See how things go full circle? We think things happen by happenstance, but it doesn't. Brother Tad, explain these 2 photographs to me and the audience.
All right. The first picture on the left, that is me. I don't know if you could put the cursor on my face, but I'm being held by my cousin Renee. She's actually my mother's cousin. She's younger than my mother, but older than us. So we were actually on a family bus ride that my grandmother used to throw all the time. And that's actually where I get the idea from in Party, to take children on bus rides every 3 months. Because
do you remember where y'all went?
Nope. Because we went everywhere all the time. We went so many places. It's not even funny, Sister Keisha. A lot of elders often talk about it. In fact, my father and my uncles talk about that. How my grandmother took everybody on bus rides. Because this is my mother's mother we're talking about, my maternal grandmother. But, this is when my father and my mother and everybody was teenagers because my grandmother looked out for the neighborhood.
Sister Marie says to you, Brother Tad, I wonder, do any of your children favor you as a child? I can say yes, but go ahead, Brother Tad.
I was about to say, it's kind of scary. It's eerily scary because you just look at them like, yeah, ain't no doubt.
You can't deny none of them kids, y'all. I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah, I call them the Tadsters.
Yeah. Dog call one of them, he'll call them Tadettes and all kind of stuff like that. Yeah, they do. It's a beautiful thing though. Even when we watched the clip earlier, Sister Keisha, the relationship I have with my daughters, the love that they have. Kayla called me the other day just to chit chat and tell me she loved me, and it feels good, when you have a good relationship with your children, especially when they go through that phase of getting boy attention and daddy is not as important to them, so they think, as the boys who give him the new attention. And then after the boy breaks her heart, she come running back to daddy. That whole thing, and daddy just being there. Like, it's all right, baby. It's all right. Nobody gonna love you like I do.
Now, when we opened up, the first image was you being held by your father. Now
Exactly.
you're holding up your daughters and your children, your sons.
And
Everything
grandson.
goes full circles. You can never disconnect. Whether you, listen, and I know a lot of people who don't rock with their families for whatever reasons. And you adjust in your feelings, but you can't deny the story. You cannot deny the story. If you do that, you are cutting off yourself. I'm telling you that right now. But I'm gonna get off my soapbox and let's continue with Brother Tad explaining these photographs to us. Go ahead, Brother Tad.
So the second picture is me, my brother, and a family friend named Angela. We were at my paternal grandmother's home, my grandmother Bernice, who I love very much. I could smell the cigarettes in that apartment. Though I don't like smoking, there's something like about grandma's cigarette smell. Like there was an air from it was comfort for me, even though I don't like cigarettes at all. But smelling my grandmother's cigarettes, because I knew I was safe, I knew I was protected, I knew I'd be fed. Because these are our early children. Yes, yes. So that's that with that picture. It just
And of course, where are we located, Brother Tad, in this photograph?
in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. That's the
Now,
powerful. That's
Bed-Stuy,
part
Brooklyn.
of the brownstone. Yes.
Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, before the invaders came,
Right. Before the pilgrims.
was the Black Mecca of Brooklyn.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
just a fact.
I wish, Sister Keisha, I wish you could see outside. And that's why the sister's in the picture. That's me with my Roots shirt on, that green shirt. It says Roots. I believe that's from the television program, Roots. Yeah, because I was about 5 in this picture, and I think I was 4 when Roots came out.
Yeah, that's history right there, brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
See what I mean? When you look back and you connect it all, it's a powerful thing.
Yeah, so the sister was in the house because you know how it goes. Everybody's raised as a family. Yeah. But we can go to
everybody together. Everybody together. Facts.
Yep.
Now let's go with these two right here.
All right. The first one was a grown Tad, late 20s, in the streets with my babies. We were just hanging out in front of the building that night. But of course, that's my baby Tati, and the little one is my baby Kamaria, who both are grown women. Tati is now married. That is Zuri's mommy. So I like showing Zuri pictures of her mommy when she was a little girl, you know. And there go her Auntie Maria. She used to call Auntie Mario. And then in the other picture is me in the front, my stepbrother Alfredo behind me, and my cousin Mel in the back. You really can't see his face. And that's my mother and my stepfather on their wedding day, June 27th, 1987, at Brown Memorial Baptist Church. Yep.
Which is a staple in Brooklyn. Brown Memorial Baptist Church. If you don't know, now you know.
That's where Letitia James came out of it. You know, that's another story for another time.
We can leave that alone.
Yeah.
We don't want to be swallowed over here. You know what?
Hey, Tad, when we start, she always get on us, right? See, she going back to that, right?
He opened the gate for it. I'm sorry, Black. But let me go back because, Brother Tad, I want you to give your feeling. You know, seeing your mom marry the love of her life, the second love of her life, I believe. I believe she loved Frog, but the second love of her life, what was that feeling like for you, Brother Tad?
You know what? I'm going to say something. Look at my stepfather. When me and my boys used to crack, I remember my man Nut spoke to his crazy self today. We were snapping. He said, "That's why your stepfather looked like Billy Ocean." Look at him. He looks like. Look at this Jerry Curl. But cooler than the other side of the pillow.
Caribbean.
Is he still with us, Tad?
Say it again.
Is he still with us?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. Yeah. So that day was a good day. You know, it was a good day because one thing I always say, he was good to my mother. He was not a replacement for my father because me and my father's relationship will always be me and my father's relationship. Never, you know what I mean? He wasn't, he didn't treat us bad. He didn't mistreat us. He didn't mistreat my mother. He's a good dude, but I've always had the love and admiration of my father. That's my dude. And I think part of that is why I'm so close to my children. Because as you can see, me, Tati, and Kamaria, I always say, those two little ladies right there, I always say, God forbid anything happens to me. I know my other children got it, but I know them two will be front and center with everything under control. Those are my go-to people. Those two girls. And
I
definitely
remember when your daughter was getting married and Brother
yes.
Tab was stressing, boy. He
Yes.
like, this got to be taken care of, but I'm going to take care of it. But
They,
he went through. I remember that.
Look, even on Father's Day, she calling me, asking me for money. I was just like, oh, boy. I said, all right. I thought she'd at least save it for Monday. But on Sunday, because they said, Daddy, what do you want for Father's Day? I just want to put a steak on the grill and sit in the backyard and do nothing. That's what I want. And truth be told, Sister Keisha, most Father's Days, that's all I wanted. Because I have some old pictures on Father's Day where we just went to the park and had an outdoor lunch. I told my children since young, we don't say picnic because the implications of the word picnic. So we would always call it an outdoor lunch. And I say, I just want to go to the park and have an outdoor lunch. And I would just lay in the grass in the shade and do nothing. Because many people don't know, when you're an active father, your job don't stop. You got doctor's visits, you got school, you got to break up fights when they're in the house. It's just a lot going on. But I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. It's almost like I'm an empty nester now because they're all adults now. All except Kayla. And Kayla will be 17 this summer.
That's my bodyguard. Y'all better leave me alone. I'm gonna tell y'all right now.
All right. Yeah, Kayla don't play. Kayla loves Sister Keisha. Kayla don't play, and she loves her Sister Keisha. But yeah.
Don't mess with me. But, and now, Brother Tad, a father of 9, right?
Yep,
grandfather 7, right?
And Sister Keisha, that picture with me and the girls, that was the summer of 2001. That was a tumultuous year because earlier that year I lost my uncle, my Uncle Big Joe. That's my paternal grandmother's brother. He didn't have any children, so me and my cousins were like his children. So unfortunately, you know how it is. You see all of your families at the funeral. So it's a sad occasion, but you all have a good time. So we all had a good time. I think that was in April or May. Then later that year, in September, my father's brother, my Uncle Money, got married. So we all got together, went to North Carolina. I had another great time being together. Then a couple of months later, the following month, I got jammed up and they tried to throw me under the jail. And it was a great summer. It was great that year up until that point. Because in fact, as you see, I had Tati, and Tati would stay with me from time.
How old were you, Tad, in that picture?
In that picture, I was about 28 years old. I was 28 years old in that picture. I wasn't working. I had just left the job the year before, but we had the music going and things were looking great. Things were looking up. Our music was on the radio. A lot of things were happening for us. And then things came to a screeching halt. Life is funny like that, But I'll put that in the book one day.
Yes, indeed. I can't wait to read it. I'm telling you, boy, if we sat down and wrote our memoirs, boy, there'd be a page turner for real.
I did it, and it's for sale.
All right.
Yes, indeed.
Boom, bye.
This is myself in my younger years. On the left, I am at my mother's house in Fort Greene.
Now you the tall one,
right?
Keisha?
The tall one. I'm the tall one. The younger one is my sister Kim. She is my middle sibling. On the right is a photograph of myself in my bunny slippers at my Aunt Pauline's house. Let me tell you these two things. The first, on the left, I'm in Fort Greene. On the right, I'm in Farragut. I cover Brooklyn. Stop playing with me. But I used to have so much fun at Aunt Pauline's house because I could be me. I could be free. When I was at home, I had a lot of responsibilities, right? I had fun and things, but I still had a lot of responsibilities, right? My mother was young when she was married and had me at 19 years of age. Now you got to think about it. A month before I came into the world, my mother, newlywed, married, loses her husband. So, my mother went through a lot of things. And so I had a lot of responsibility. Love my mother to death. Never, never allowed her children to take education for granted. Um, when I say reading was a must in our household, it was a must. Like I was reading Science Digest, Reader's Digest, and all that stuff when I was in the second grade. We would have my stepfather would bring home an abundance of newspapers, um, and we had to read all of them, and choose current event topics to discuss during dinner. So what I'm doing now is full circle. It was all preparation back then. So shout out to Aunt Pauline. Aunt Pauline is in her 80s now. So I cherish every time I'm in her presence, and every time I'm at Aunt Pauline's house, she let me go through her documents, she let me go through her pictures and everything. You know what I'm saying? Because she knows I'm going to carry this story on. So, and my sister Kim, who I cherish and love a lot, my brother Tad met my sister, but very, very humble young woman. So again, that's just me in Fort Greene and in Farragut during that time. And also Sister Marcia had my own bout with a sexual assault as a child. So I had to deal with that as well. Um, and if you look at the picture on the right in the bunny slippers, and my grandson Pharaoh, he is the spitting image of his grandmother in that photograph. So
Absolutely. You know what? The picture, the other picture with you next to your sister,
mhm,
reminds me of my sister being protective, right? Not making sure that whatever had happened to me is not going to happen to you. That kind of I'm there for you stand. I can feel that in that picture.
that's what's up. Definitely, I'm still to this day very overprotective of my sisters. They well into their 40s, but I don't care. Um, in this photograph too, I think I was about 9. So this is like 1979. We going back to the 70s. In this one. And that sun visor, I just loved it to death. My mother had bought me and my sisters sun visors, and I love that thing to death. So you see, still wearing hats to this day. Things come full circle. You think it's happenstance, but it isn't. In the next photograph, the one on the left, I am the one here with the braids. We still in the 70s. Look at the vehicle. You can see the vehicle. Stop playing. Now, brother Tad, the young lady next to me in the light blue shirt with the pink dog on the front, that's Tashima. That's Tashima. She was starting trouble back then. She probably watching it tonight. You know you was a troublemaker back then. Um, and I believe we're in Bed-Stuy around on Ebby's
I was gonna ask
on Putnam Ave.
it's something about the sidewalks that just say Bed-Stuy.
Facts. Putnam Ave. And here is my sister Kim again. And below them is my brother Sean. You see that big wheel right there. If you was little in the 70s and you ain't had no big wheel, come on.
Do the spin out.
He used to sleep in that thing. We used to make him go to bed because he wanted to sleep in the daggone big wheel. But again, the three of us or the four of us share the commonality of sexual assault. Um, that's a lot to deal with. That's a lot to deal with. But that's just another story for another time. But I'm just giving you a premise so you know where my toughness comes from. where I take no shorts from nobody. That's where it comes from. Because I vowed it would never, and I would never give anybody a leg up on me, ever. I would die first. So that's where that mindset comes from. On the right is picture 2010. I'm with my, now check out the numbers, Brother Black. 1111. Y'all see that right there? You see that right there, don't you? You see it, don't you? This is me and my daughter, Aaliyah, who's Pharaoh's mom now. But this was in 2010, and we were in South Carolina, Brother Kev, at the Gullah Festival. This is the day we received a very powerful reading, things that were going to happen to us in our lives. And it's we were read by a Yoruba priestess of the tribe who lives there, and live as Yoruba in South Carolina on the Gullah Islands. So it was a very powerful, powerful day. We were both brought to serious tears. Brother Monty, Sister Joyce is watching. Also went through a very powerful reading, so he knows what I'm talking about. Behind me, this guy right here with the white hat on is the history hitman, Mike Grace. And Harold Wilbur, who level of education rubbed off on me in a very powerful way. This is why I investigate so hard and research the way that I do. So we are in South Carolina. Brother Monty is standing right here. If you look in Sister Joyce, this is Monty right here. So again, we were brought to the water. The children of Sankofa International Academy were reciting the nations of Africa at the waters on the shores where our ancestors were brought here from. So a lot of history in this photograph, and I enjoy telling that story to my grandson. But moving on, because we're running out of time, we're gonna move on along. The team. It's the team. Brother Tad, Brother Ashe. Shout out to Brother Ashe. Let me get some fire in the room for Brother Ashe. Drop some fire in the room for the fire god. He's working, doing his thing. But unfortunately, the cost of living in these United States of America, people have to do what they have to do. So Brother Ashe is no exception. But he definitely is in tune with what we're doing. Continue support of what we're doing. And who knows? You never know when he's gonna pop up in here. But shout out to you, Brother Ashe. I met Brother Ashe and Brother Tad at United African Movement Forums. These two men, when I first met them, resonated something within me, right? And I told them both, we're gonna do some work together. You may not want to do it, but we're gonna do it. I see what, and Brother Crazy as well. I see what the future has for us. The both of them wasn't trying to hear that. But at one point, the fire god, Ashe SJ, he started coming to the forums and he wanted to form a gum club. And so, we had a conversation about some things. And, I always told Ashe, whatever you do, if you start it, I got your back. I got your back. And till this day, I still got my brother's back. It's what we do. The same with Brother Tad. Told him the same thing. He's like, I'm no public speaker. I don't do these things. I say, okay.
I thought I was low. I thought I was low.
Nah, I said, you know what? I saw you on an episode of Community Cop with Brother Byrne. He said, you did? Yeah. And this is where I see things going. So Brother Tag, he's kind of reserved. So he was like, nah, I don't know about all that. While he was saying, nah, I already went to Miss Maddox and said, put him on the schedule. The same way I did Black. He's like, Black was like, nah, I don't know. While he's
Yo,
talking, I'm putting you on the schedule.
no, remember, I used to ask you, and you told, I'm gonna get back to you. I'm gonna get back to you. Finally, okay,
Yep.
so when you coming? I'm like,
Yep.
what? What are you
There
talking
you go.
about?
You
He's
on the
like,
schedule. You on the schedule. You on the schedule because I had to vet first, right? And I'm very honest in that. Honest in that. And I kept to my word, and he came through a couple of times. Listen. Same with Sister Marcia. You going hiking and this? Listen, you going too. We rocking out together. Africans on the rise. We rocking out. Now
We going hiking this year?
of course, this summer I'm outside because listen, what's coming in November 2024? We
It's
better enjoy
bananas.
outside this summer.
It's
For real.
bananas.
hey, can I ask a serious question, y'all, real quick?
Absolutely.
To intrude 1 second. Has Sister Betty Dobson been interred yet, or what's the deal with
No,
that?
she's around.
Okay. Just asking. Okay, I'm sorry. Y'all go right ahead.
So again, things come full circle, right? The five of us working together, like I said, because I understand story. I understand the connection with genealogy and DNA and where we must go. Don't know how I understand these things, but for a very long time, half of my adulthood, I began to see things very, very clearly. And I know it may sound like spookiness, but I'm just
You're
telling
a
you.
seer, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think more people need to be in tune with seeing what their capabilities and possibilities can be instead of, blocking it like, that whole arrested development. That's what that's what captivates us because we're just so uncertain of what the future may hold because we've never seen it before.
And the
But
other
I'm in trust. I'm in trust with you, Sister Keisha.
and the other side of that too, right? I came in the movement in the 90s and I saw a lot of shenanigans back then. So coming back in the fold in the 2012, 13 era, it was like, do I still want to deal with the foolishness? But there's a necessity for all of us, not just me, not just Sister Keisha, not just you, Sister Mother, not just Brother Paxton, all of us. And
There's a
part of
void.
it thinking that you have to change who you are.
Absolutely.
You do have to change, but change in a good way in terms of growth. Do you have to wear dashiki and put on the oils and big beats? No, you don't have to. If you're comfortable with it, yeah. But for the most part, you don't have to change who you are. And unfortunately, when it comes to this consciousness, we get introduced to the wrong people, the most radical ones, the loudest ones, that make you think that you're not good enough to be part of this black movement because maybe you're not black enough. Or you ain't read this book, or you eat this, you do that. Like, no, I ain't here for
Brother Tad. Brother
and
Tad,
this is a deterrent why more people don't get involved, because people do ask me a lot of questions and they do want to be involved, but the people they be meeting is out of their goddamn mind. And we got to be honest about that part too. We got some extremely radical folks in the movement. And
especially them dudes be talking about solar flares.
They're so radical. They still aren't doing anything. They're still full of rhetoric. One thing I want to say, when I was, again, my family always been immersed in books and content and everything like that. But the first time that I got introduced in movement, so I went to St. Joseph High School, and down the block, X-Clan had their group that they were developing at one of them buildings on Court Street.
Blackwatch.
Blackwatch, yes. So I became a Black Watcher. And one of the things that I appreciated about that environment was the whole idea of reading Black. Everything that you had to do was about Black. They didn't care whether you wore Black, because we went and they were recruiting. Well, they were recruiting for other reasons, right? Because that's the other part of this whole environment that's toxic, right? But they went to the Catholic school girls and tried to get their harem filled. But in the same token, as they were getting their hormone filled, I found comfort in the knowledge that they were sharing, right? When they would have their meetings and stuff like that. And then when they would take us to meetings at like the slave theater and stuff like that, I would be so amazed. I'm like a little person in my uniform trying to be cute and trying to be black. It was just so cute. Like, and again, these are the times where I didn't want to be in anybody's picture. Don't take a picture of me. I don't want it and stuff like that. But those are missed moments of celebrating who I am today and the evolution because of them. I will forever be endowed to X Clan for that moment in time, for that 1 year and however many months that we were together hard.
Sissy.
Yes.
Zoom. By the way,
but again, coming up in that time, we had such variety. We had options. Even in the midst of one of the craziest psyops that have ever taken place in the United States of America, which was the crack era. Shout out to the real Rick Ross. And shout out to Dr. Filet for giving me that introduction with the real Rick Ross in Philadelphia. We met out in Philly. And we've come across, like we said, some great people in our time. The tab with Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, whether it's Runoko Rashidi or Dr. Leonard Jeffries or 100 Blacks in Law Enforcement Who Care, Professor William Mackey, Alton H. Maddox, CMO Tap, UAM, First World. I mean, we've come Dr. Dick Gregory, so many we've come in contact with, and that's just not happenstance. We had to go through that to get through that, to be where we are right here and right now. As we come to the end of our program, family, Sister Marcia, your final thoughts and commentary. Let's rock out.
I like this moment in time, this time capsule, the opening of the time capsule. Family, do not be afraid to tell our stories. Tell our stories to everyone who's willing to listen, whether they want to listen or not listen. Just tell your story. It is important for you to know where you came from, to know where you're going. You cannot be a seer like Sister Keisha is without recognizing the past so that you can charter the future. I hope that this episode gives you a wonderful way to imagine what your future can become. And even if your past was hard, reimagine those moments of joy and bring them to light, because ain't no soft life without a hard life. So stop trying to take it easy. So easy. Yes, it's easy. And I know I say it often, but the only way to make it easy is recognizing the hard, the parts that made you want to kill yourself. But you survived, you thrived, and now it's time to shine. Make time flourish, and may it flourish for us all. I appreciate you on this Black Thursday, and see you next Black Thursday. Brother Black.
Peace, my sister. Hey, real talk. We already done split frequencies. The Kali Yuga opened I believe on a week ago, January 15th. I didn't even talk about that last time because it was so heavy with the energy.
I asked you about it, and you were like, "Oh, I ain't know."
I hadn't done any research at that point, but the gate is open. The frequency is now different. If you don't want to call it a frequency, call it a dimension. Do as you do, especially if you're doing right by people, and continue living, because it's fitting to be heaven on earth. You heard? So all of these things that's happening basically that concern us of the melanated sort and I'm talking about the real melanin, not that other melanin. Those of us of that sort who are doing the real stuff are going to continue thriving and living and entering into new dimensions, and it don't stop at the ninth. It continues on and on and on and on, as capable as you are of achieving whatever you want to achieve on this earth now. I ain't talking about 50 years from now. Solar activity is increasing. I send y'all the alerts. Marcia said on this very show over a month ago she was going to friend me, and she ain't never done it yet. So we don't concern with her right now, even though she passed me the mic.
I'm going to mind my business on that one.
And with that said, I got the ultimate expose out there. You can get it at Elias Flavius. Inbox me only. I'll let you know how to get it. Other than that, I'm going to say peace to my people because I know Sister Keisha got to go soon. Brother Tad, pass the mic to you. Peace, y'all.
Brother Black, appreciate you. And I must say, brother, you was on your best behavior today. I don't know what happened. I don't know solar flares or what, but you didn't show out today. And I just want to let you know it didn't go unnoticed. We're going to give you kudos and props. But sure enough, as we take a trip down memory lane, as Sister Keisha brought up the First World, UAM, and CMOTAB, and we see that today's young people are trying to reenact the 90s. It's important that all of us also bring back the consciousness of the 90s. Because in the 90s, we did have a Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, Dr. Khaled, Steve Cochlear, Ishika Musa Barashango. We're thankful that Brother Alton Mattis is still with us. We had so many great giants that were planting seeds within us. So now we got to pollinate our audience. We got to pollinate those around us. And we got to not recreate what was in the 90s, but redevelop it. Bring back the consciousness, because what's happening is we literally see the dumbing down of everyone. Not just blacks, not just whites, not just Asians, not just Hispanics or Arabs, the dumbing down of everyone. At one point, everyone knew who they were. You knew who your ops were. You knew who your allies were. Right now, we just run around with our heads in the clouds, chasing things that has no intrinsic value to us and our survival. Though we see the floodgates are open for us to be replaced, because the Mayafa has never stopped. For those who may not know, the Mayafa means the great suffering. We haven't had a Holocaust. We had something worse than a Holocaust, something that started in Africa and has not stopped, even in 2024. So hopefully you are inspired by something you heard tonight, and it's your turn to go out and inspire others. So y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay true, and remember, no matter how hard things may seem right now, it's always better days ahead. Sister Keisha.
My brother from another mother. Sister Marie says, y'all are truly amazing. I'm so glad I came across y'all through the Irritated Genie. Shout out to the Straight Black Pride movement.
Our brother Genie, our brother Salih, brother Conrad. Yes.
That's right. Brother Black Magus.
Yes, ma'am.
So
I was about to say it right before you did.
Brother Kev, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. We have dipped our foot in many of pools because that is our path. Maybe not your path, but that was our path, and it still is our path.
Right.
As Brother Taz said, we have to reiterate the consciousness of the 90s. But as astrologers say, and I believe the legendary Lloyd Strayhorn will be in New York in Jersey, actually, next month. But we are in a feminine era. So, you see a lot of feminine behavior, but you can dominate that and change that. The stars do not guide you. It is that melanin pull that guides the stars. If you don't believe me, then go research the Dogon then. You don't have to believe me. I just follow the path that was laid before. But Sister Aminetu, we appreciate you and everybody who tuned in and show us love every Thursday. Again, we do this for the community. We do this for the healing, because if we are not right, the world is not right. If the world is not right, we might as well fold up and lay down and die right here and right now. And I'm not built of that ilk. I come from two great, powerful families, my mother's side and my father's side. Again, you've heard some stories tonight that you may not have known. The people that we've come across, the people that we are still engaged with, and where we're going in our future. Thank you, Sister Marie. Bless you for that. Bless you. I appreciate that. I try to be. You know, sometimes people rub me the wrong way, and I might have to deck you one. But you know, if Brother Tad is around, he might get in between us, so I don't deck you. But
Diplomat from uptown.
my family and my husband got the bail money stacked, so I really don't give two hoots. You understand what I'm saying?
Leave him alone, Keisha. Let him live. Let him live.
No. Listen, what Dr. Kamal Cambone, peace be upon him, said we must exterminate them. Stop playing with me. But to do that, you must be sound in mind, right? Because if not, and you see what's happening.
Get your Colin Ferguson on.
This addiction to social media, right now, therapists and experts are saying that it is causing serious harm to society and children in particular. What the images that they are seeing before them. So we got to keep pushing forward. We got to keep doing this every week. Each one teach one. That's how we reach one. Shout out to our brother Gerard, Messiah, the movie. They're moving on to the Chicago Film Fest. It's picking up steam. Look out, family. We warned y'all right here. We warned y'all right here. It's about to go down. We're going to get Brother Gerard on here soon as he finished making the rounds because it's picking up steam. We're going to get him back on here to talk about the film. But again, we appreciate y'all each and every week for tuning in with us on the Brooklyn Bridge. Let them know it goes down here every Thursday, 8 to 10 p.m. Good night, y'all. We out.
Peace.